Hey guys, it's Kelsey. I'm back with another scrapbooking process video, and this is another layout for 30 Days of Sketches hosted by Chrissy's Beautiful Life. This is day 11, and that was the sketch we had to use today. So I'm starting out with this nice aqua background, and I'm just going to be using scraps for this one. I figured this was a good sketch to try and get scraps used up because a lot of the paper layers were smaller. So I love a sketch like that that kind of allows me to not have to cut into big chunks of paper and use what I already have cut up. The sketch had a vertical 4x6 and a square 4x4 photo. I had 3 4x6 photos for this page, but a couple of them were smaller, so what I decided to do was trim 2 of them into 4x4s and then one of them into a 2x4, and then mat the 2x4 with a 4x4 to create my vertical 4x6. So that's what I'm starting out with, matting everything on white, and I'm going to have them kind of staggered the way they were in the sketch before I start moving on to my paper layers. This is Benoit. He was my boss when I worked for Cavalia Edicio. I love him. He is the sweetest guy, and he always went out of his way to like do fun things with me that he didn't have to do for the job, and I really appreciate that. I want to make sure I note that as I'm scrapbooking these pages with him, because we really came to be really good friends, and he is just a sweetheart, and he works so well with these horses. It's just a joy to watch how he communicates with them. So that's kind of what I wanted this page to be about. This is one of the Spanish purebred 4-year-old stallions that we have that's not in the show yet, but that we're kind of working with to desensitize and train until, he eventually can be in the show. This guy here's name is Tio Pepe. I love him. He's one of my favorites of all of the Spanish purebreds that are in the show, or not in the show, but that they have. And so today we were just doing some groundwork with him. But you can see I'm kind of just starting with using some of the scraps I already have. Some of these papers I probably wouldn't have put together on my own in this collection, but because I'm using scraps, they're kind of what I have to use, so I'm just rolling with it. I decided to use this polka dot as the more square piece, this orange piece as the vertical chunk, and then this chevron as kind of the background layer. In the sketch, this chevron piece is just on the left hand side as it is now, but it kind of bothered me that that was all that was showing because my proportions ended up different. I thought it would just look better if I dragged that piece to the right side and made it look like a large rectangular piece that ran behind all these layers. So you'll see that in a minute once I kind of get these things glued down. It just looks a little off balance only having that chevron on the left hand side. So I'm going to go ahead and start gluing down the pieces that I have. I'm going to trim this orange piece down to be a little bit more narrow like it is in the sketch. And then once I start gluing down this chevron, you'll see where I add, and I think it looks a bit better for the proportions I ended up with doing that. So I'm going to go ahead and get that glued down. There's a couple tags in this sketch I definitely need to make, so I'm planning on taking up a couple scraps to create those tags. And then pretty much my sketch will have been accomplished other than the title and the journaling. But I'm trying to just get these main layers down so I can decide what I want to do from there. I definitely want to get at least one cut apart on here. I definitely want to get as many stickers as possible because this is layout 4 or 5 with this collection, and even though you're seeing it only about halfway through the month, I'm like at the end of the paper. So yeah, I'm gonna try my best to use what I have to get it used up. But here is the scraps I decided to make my tags out of. I decided to make them both out of the same kind of geometric aqua paper. Because they're on opposite sides of my paper layers, I thought it would automatically kind of balance that color and that pattern if I use the same thing. So I'm just creating my tags with those scraps. I'm going to glue some white hole reinforcers on there. And then I decided to use some orange and white twine. I don't use it very often. Actually, I don't think I've ever used this orange and white twine, but it came in a pack of multiple colors, and I figured, you know what? There's orange on this page. I never use the orange, so I'm going to. So I'm going to go ahead and get those both threaded. It's not like soft twine. It's more of that, I don't know what you'd call it, like taffeta type twine. Like, I don't know. It's not as malleable, so it kind of took me a minute to get that, the tag how I wanted it with the twine. But yeah, I really like how those ended up looking once they're glued down where they're supposed to go. So I'm going to tuck it in pretty much just how it is in the sketch, one up there and then one coming out from the side down here. And I think that helps fill up that space really nicely too. And it breaks up the all the oranges because there's a lot of orange, red, and the chevron that's kind of all the same color. So I like having that green up at the top that kind of breaks up those patterns a little bit. And it brings the blue from the background in because the background's blue, but pretty much everything else are these more warmer tones. So I like having the blue that way. And then, let's see, there is the cut apart you see to the left there that I fussy cut for a previous page. It says the things we do together. I did not make it on that page, so I'm going to try and get it on this one. But before I do that, this is where I go in and add some more of that chevron to the right side of these papers, just so that looks like one larger piece. And I think that makes more sense visually, and it helps balance that chevron a little bit. So I'm just trying to figure out what proportion I want it. I like it like that, where there's not as much showing, but enough to kind of make you feel like that's one larger piece, and I think that looks better. So there is that. I think I'm just moving my scraps because this is pretty much my paper layers right now. I just need to embellish. So again, I'm going through my sticker sheet. Benoit's wearing this navy blue jacket, so there's a couple navy blue stickers I haven't had a chance to use. So I'm like, you know what, we're pulling him in on this page. So I have a 5-star rating down there on the one photo. This little noted pen up there by the tag. I realized I hadn't glued down my layers yet, so I'm going to go ahead and stop and glue these all down, just so things aren't shifting, and then we will continue. But yeah, I love seeing Benoit, and Benoit and Tio Pepe are so cute together. They just have, like, Benoit's such a good horseman. Like, his horsemanship is just amazing, watching him work with these horses and how they end up communicating. Tio Pepe was pretty far along already. He doesn't hardly spook at anything. He's a pretty confident boy, so it's pretty much just getting him comfortable to Benoit doing weird things. You can see that smaller photo. He's just like jumping up and hanging off of his back. Benoit ended up jumping up on him with just his halter on. And this is a 4-year-old stallion, guys. Like, he's young. He's got his hormones because he's still a stallion. And they just, like, it amazes me what they can do together and how they work together. So he ended up just jumping on him, and just, he walked around with just his little halter. And then when we were done, he kind of did some liberty work with him where they just communicated and he listened without having a halter or rope or anything attached to them. And it was just so much fun watching them do that. But now that I have my stickers down, I put my little cut apart sheet on some foam down there. I decided to do my title next. So I decided to do white. And then I'm putting it right where it was in the sketch. I'm just calling this groundwork, and then getting my last 2 navy arrows on here just to fill in that gap. And then I still had 5 hearts left over on the sticker sheet from that border strip. So I decided just to get them all used up on this as well, because they're kind of the same green as the tags. So I thought that would be a nice way to get all of that used up. And then I think I just have my journaling left. So I decided to use, what is this color? It is Poppy Parade, and it's a kind of soft red that's in this collection. It's kind of a, I don't know, it's not really a orangey pinky red. And so I'm doing my journaling over to the right side here, kind of going from my title down to this bottom tag to fill in a little space over there. So I'm just drawing in some lines, and then I'll just do my journaling. And I think that's pretty much going to be it. My journaling just ended up saying, I love watching Benoit work. Tia Pepe was up today for some groundwork, and they are so sweet and trusting together. And then I think from the photos, you can kind of see the gist of what we were doing today. But it's always such a joy to watch him work with these horses. So I'm getting my journaling down. I'm pretty sure that's it. So this is the sketch for March 11th. So play along if you like. Like I said before, there is a Facebook group for the sketches. They're doing sketches every single day. I'm just trying to play along when I can. But there is a hashtag if you want to search for them. It is 30SCBL7. That is 30 Days of Sketches from Christy's Beautiful Lives, and this is Series 7. So you can search for it that way. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.